Yellow. That's fucked. One sec. Okay, I'm back. Hi. Welcome to Sunday. Welcome to Sunday night stream of Professor Jimble's. We're playing Tyranny or similar, but on the other hand, so I was on Reddit today. Yeah, I know. We're pivoting now. I'm just a Reddit React channel. Sorry. I'm so sorry, Loxy, darling. Anyway, tell a very short story. I was on Reddit. The parenting subreddit has the one saying like, "Hey, don't say I'll take care of the kids all day if you then complain about it the whole day. That's not a very good Mother's Day present." Good, basic, very basic statement. Very glad you've made that clear. A thing that I'm happy to sign. Yeah, right. That sucks. Well, that's all. Which has made me think, oh shit. Potentially I shouldn't start a stream with, fuck, I'm so tired, because it may give the impression that I am overburdened by parenting for 4 hours. Now, anyone? I think it's not unreasonable that people who know me wouldn't assume that that's what I'm complaining about. Well, it's true. It's not. The Sherwood estate are tired. We are happy, but tired. Fucking life is exhausting. Yeah, absolutely. We have a very lovable and loud squeaky boy who has had an excellent day, assisting me make his mother breakfast. Who did? And assisting me. Wild magic. Oh, randomize the type of damage. Yes, fucking please. Yeah, hello, Clark. Hello, hello. We had a lovely time. Random. Eat shit. How much extra does it cost? It's just 20. Alright. Jeez. Yeah, sausage, I'm not helping you with that. Yes, I know sausage, okay. You've eaten so much cake and then made so much cake?
Can't do that.
All the way around. I'm fine with that. That's a great solution. Even though it is tradition, I did not make or arrange cake in the stitches. Happy birthday, Clark! My God! Okay, so you can come hang out with me. Come on. You need your little dog. Because, quite responsibly, that data is not available on the website that reminds me about people's birthdays, so, like, I forgot. Happy birthday, Clark. Oh! Wow. Still,
Nope, sorry.
I think the heartfelt happy birthday is still felt. Marvin, lie down, please, girl. Come on. Come on, girl. Come on, lie down, please. No, lie down. I don't have time for an endlessly whining sausage. Right. That explains the cake, I guess. You know? Very responsible. Good way to spend time making and then eating cake. Yeah, right? Like, I get it. Pretty reasonable. I hope it's not the only way. Raise the rock bridge. Shit. It's funny because we have jumped larger gaps. What in Cairn's name? Earthshaker's arms have been breached. Alright, bye.
I got it.
Make appropriately timed attempts to put baby to sleep Because otherwise, parents will explode. Reasonable. That's also why I woke up my beloved child before he wished to be woken up, because... Buddy, we love you, but you need to go to sleep. At a responsible time. Mage fire and hit by a random damage. Just want to see what it does. Sausage, what are you doing? Come on, lie down. No, come on. You want to come in here and hang out with me while I'm streaming? You're very welcome. The happy Black Day cake. That's good. And it's good. We love a happy Black Day. Oh shit, look at that. They're all moving. Never mind. Fuck them up. They're all moving again.
Is entirely worthless.
Oh, they all moved and I missed. Missed really bad. Quick, better ball light me up.
Somebody heard that, right?
I could go for some cake. I think this was an excellent decision, and I may be making cake. Depending on what time I finish streaming. Oh, that's it. I also... Fuck. Friday? Yeah, Friday I spent a couple of hours writing and finalizing the assignment. It's not a long or large assignment, but I still needed to get it done, and pulling teeth at times. But then when it works, it works.
You got it. Fall before me! Anyone else want some of this?
In any case, some sort of... Like, what time we finish streaming here tonight? And thinking about making cake.
Take me if you can. Back here.
No, don't do Tyrannis' grip. It's actually really annoying. Lifts the enemies up in the air. Like, it's fun, but... Do this instead.
Smash to pieces.
Yep. Do the searing palm with random damage again. Boop! Fate Bunda, have mercy! If you cannot do this, if you disrupt the ritual of following, you don't know what will happen. The ritual of following. Law. As punishment for their intransigence against Kyros, the family lands of many Bastardian nobles are rendered lifeless by the ritual of following. Emerging of Cairn's power in concert with these disciples, it would blight the landscape for generations to come. Though awakening an active archive of stone was present in past iterations of the ritual, this ritual could, at least in theory, draw its power from a less cogent Cairn to oversee domestic forces. Ritual of following, you said. He grits his teeth and looks away. Really? This is how you want to play it? The muscles in his hard-set jaw pop in place. Rattle him. Rage courses through him, burning brightly behind his eyes. Rattle him harder. He breaks beneath the pain and fear, a pathetic excuse for a battle mage. Please, you must see the reason. We're conducting a highly intricate, magically esoteric procedure with terrene elemental loads of mercurial unstable charred resonance. Destroy a single stone, the backlash could kill us all, you ass. Mom, come here. Come and lie down, please. Behave. Thank you. Shatter the shiny crystal loads. Got it. The conquest of Howling Rock. Okay. The staff, affixed to a charged load of Azurelith, has been primed to disrupt the Earthshaker's ritual.
I got it. Can't do that.
No one will see me.
I'm good, Bulwark. Always doing as Alpha asks.
Did you just see Kills in Shadow one-shot someone? That's fucking hilarious. When still, gain 100% hit precision. Yeah, might help. I'm trying to remember to do that, so let's...
Need to try a different tactic. This isn't working.
Watch this, I'm gonna stealth again. You're gonna... God, believe not. You're gonna love this.
Attack again! We'll strike better next time.
That's how I like it. Well hung, helpless.
And a very happy blank day to you too, Earthshakers. Great stuff.
Sorry, I can't.
There's a thing to loot that I didn't. Someone's corpse.
Cut the banter and stay low.
Radix Encore.
Attack again? We'll strike better next.
Fatebinder. A mountain of a man clad in from head to heel in dark iron armor takes a heavy, clanging step forward. How dare you bring your chaos and filth to my fort and my Archon? I will not permit you to take a single step closer to Cairn. His favorite officer at his side unsheathes a massive broadsword with gusto. He clanks heavily as he stomps into a ready stance. I've got your back, Commander. In Cairn's name, I will protect the remains of my Archon from the unworthy. Perhaps Kyros' swarm and foul this land. Instead, let the land swallow the bevy. Let the land shudder and tremble. This ritual ends now. Whatever foul deed you have planned is not going to happen. You presume you can stop me? The following is nearly complete now. So you see, you will not have my Archon, Fatebinder, and this land will die. He cleaves the ground with a single strike of his staff. He steps closer, trembling as violently as the earth around him. I will destroy you, he seethes. I will crush you into grit. I will bury you beneath the very bottom of the azurious tectonic plate and blot your name from history. He spreads his arms wide, beckoning you to your fate. Behold, for you are in the presence of an iron guard of ash. He hefts his sword with a harsh grunt. Reckon this is the end for us, Fatebinder. At least for you.
Next time.
That's how I like my prey.
For the glory of Kyros!
Harsh words would cause more harm than this useless weapon.
You won't enjoy this as much as I do.
This is useless.
No, it's not. Don't give up yet, buddy. You'll be okay. Withering touch. That just drains strength. Whoop!
We should try something else.
Rex? No, 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 no. Can't. You. I'll cut you for this, you worthless shit. Yeah, he's gone now. Oh, it's crusted. Ooh, let's take a control stone. Very useless. I guard. Yeah, okay. Yank. Snap. Not fucking letting you guys remove, like, make it so the earth, assault the earth so it can never grow anything again. Cartoonish villainy. There you go, Cairn. You eat properly, dog. It's okay. You're gonna get love and affection. You can't get the complaining. It's the only thing you can't do. As the ground beneath your feet settles, finally, into a blissful calm, a feeling of lightness and vitality burbles through your veins. The Edict of Stone has ceased. With the dissipation of its powerful draining force, the world feels once again alive with arcane energy and currents of magic. The Edict of Stone is no more. Finally, maybe now I can hear my own thoughts again. Wait, maybe that's not a good thing. The Edict is gone, isn't it? Seren rubs her crown. Ever since we arrived, I've suffered the most unspeakable headache. Who knew that taking apart Kyros' enchantments would be such a relief? I hope this means the end of the earthquakes. I already sleep with one eye open and don't appreciate surprises. The most populous valley of the Tears has been shattered and befouled, and for what? To punish one traitor. Well, today the Edict of Stone is no more. Well, let us hope the realm and its people might now begin to heal. Can feel. Stone lands are healing. Heals and Shadow takes a scraping of dirt and rubs it between her dark, gangly fingers. New growth, life, food, blood pulse of land is returning. Sacrificing his zeal was too heavy a cost for punishing Cairn. I'll be happy to see crops growing, even if it takes some backbreaking effort to get the stone sea in order. The wording of the edict pounds through your skull with the sort of clarity that usually comes from days of practice and repetition. It would seem that the Edict of Stone is now part of you. A word, Fatebinder. Lantry takes you aside, patting his shoulders. I wondered if you might entertain a quick question. Go ahead, Lantry. Wonderful. He dips his quill and starts writing on a sheet of vellum, focusing on you all the while. You want to go out, dog? Yes? Okay. Silly dog. You've broken a number of Kyros' edicts at this point, which is not a claim that many could make. How do you feel about what you've accomplished? Spare me no detail, please. This is for posterity. Anything that strikes you about the experience is invaluable to the Chronicle. And breaking an edict means I have fulfilled Kyros' will. I'm bringing order to the Tears, one realm at a time. So this is strictly the course you've chosen. Tunon was wise to claim you as the court's own. You are a true standard-bearer to Kyros' most austere sense of order. Nodding slowly, Lantry writes a furious series of notes. One last question. Now, how do you feel? Physically and mentally, I mean? I ask because there's very little precedent on the matter, and you could define the symptoms or actions for, well, history as a whole. An arcane feat on this scale doesn't happen every day. Exhilarated, I could dash across the Tears without breaking a sweat. Is that right? Well, glad to hear that breaking edicts hasn't disintegrated your flesh and bones, but has instead improved your constitution. But let's not put that sprinting without a sweat boast to the test just quite yet. I think I have what I need for now. Future readers of the Chronicle thank you for your time and introspection. Lantry stops his writing and smiles. Your power has increased. Restore the lamp. Jeez. 10% maximum health. Invigorated, toughened, joyful, focused, well fed. Good lord. Punisher. Dun, 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 dun. All enemies near him have their resolve lowered. Well, that's very useful.
Found something.
Cairn, Archon of Stone. Before you lies a broken body of Cairn. Petrified in death, a residual tinge of power pulsates faintly beneath the surface of his skin. Remove a fragment of Cairn. You can detect subtle vibrations in 6 points along the Archon's body, the last expressions of his diminishing life force. Yoink. Cairn's essence. Take right hand. Essence of quickness. Essence of resolve. Essence of wits. Essence of might. Essence of finesse. Resolve is used for lore. What else is? Let's go wits then. Wits. Fragment of Cairn's head. Brilliance. Plus 2 wits. It's an accessory. It's an accessory? Hydromancy. It's an accessory. Oh well. Also going to be a single-use increase. Anyway. Cairn's remains lie here, collapsed in a pile of zeolith and stone. The wandering Archon was destroyed by the might of the Edict of Stone.
I got it.
Well, well, well.
Can't do that.
Here we go. Let's claim the last spire, baby. Seats of power. Find a way to the top of the dawning spire. Not a full dungeon. Brilliant flames cast an emerald light on the walls. How they got that color and why they don't burn out is a mystery. 60 lore. Incomplete.
I got it.
Okay. I'm Googling it. I feel good about it. I'm doing it. Three runes? You just need 1 or 2 to figure it out what it looks like. Jesus. I was way off. Well, kinda. It wasn't that off.
Right.
Bing! Here we go. Let's do it. This is the last spire. Hey, get back here. The now familiar light of the spire crosses skyward, trailing off towards the horizon in the direction of Vendrian's well. You feel the ground beneath you fall away as you give in to the warmth of the energy surrounding you. Dawning spire and howling rock gives you the impression of slow, inexorable movement, like a glacier of living stone. Unstoppable force moves at a pace no eye can follow. The tower's very immobility is a pretense. With a triumphant heave, you feel the will of the spire stretch across the distance to link its power with Vendrian's well.
Who says you can't teach an old dog new tricks?
Too bad Spire could not save Stone Archon from falling to Kyros' edict. Beastwoman thinks Spire would have wanted to. She scratches a spindly, curved claw along her collarbone as she peers over the lip of the spire, down at the petrified Archon, clutching its base. Amazing. You can see out east from here, across to the continent. If we had a long-distance peering device, I wonder if we could see Kyros' next wave of invaders starting their journey here. It's maybe for the better that I can't confirm the suspicion. For all the dangers you put me through, at least you take me to some lovely places. At some point, I want to wake up early and actually watch a sunrise from here. It'll be nice looking down at the sunrise for a change. Another spy added to your collection, which begs the question of how many strongholds one fate-binder needs. I'll leave you to answer the hard questions. Are you used to this rush? Because I don't know if I ever will be. We all feel it, right? I feel bad reveling in this moment, knowing it came at the loss of such immense power. But we will use it to further our cause, so it won't have happened in vain. Infirmary. Allows you to brew potions and other consumables. Seats of power. Done. At any cost. Truth reconciliation. Where the fuck is it? Need to update Blade and Mark. Understand. Judgment. Passive bonus subdivision dodge. I mean, sure, but I want to get this. Bonus experience for law. Yay! Against additional spell slots. Just delay entry? Fine. Just the ability to slow enemies? Sure, we'll just activate that. Dawning Spire, we did it. Bruce rare potions. Legal potions. Regular potions. 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 Supplies to create potions. We don't need these. They're elsewhere. The trading grounds is the one that, like, new items since last visit. That's cool. Done. There are no edicts left. Wow. Well done, everybody.
On it.
I'm going to go down and then back up. Boop. And then we're going to talk to all our new people. We're going to buy all their junk. Consumables, the thing I totally always remember to use. Alchemist Ember. Welcome to the Spire's Infirmary, Fatebinder. As you can see, we have everything in order and under control. The alchemist nods and smiles. What can I do here? If you wish to craft potions, we have an alchemy station nearby. We are, of course, producing a modest supply of potion ourselves. But you have but to ask, and I'll show you what we've made. What do you make of the spire? The alchemist glances towards the edge of the spire with an anxious twitch. This is certainly an irregular place to establish our services, but so be it. At least we are removed from the front lines of this conflict, for the time being at least. What have you made of me? What have you made for me? Nothing at this moment. Okay. Hey, Binder, come closer. I have something for you. The thin stranger offers a toothy smile and beckons with a hand curled into a fist. There we are. This should only take a moment. Before you can react, he opens his palm to reveal a handful of black powder, which he blows into your face with the full force of his breath. It's too late to do anything about it. You bat at the cloud to disperse it. You've already inhaled no small amount of the substance. He nonchalantly slaps his hands together to clean them off. Nothing to worry about. Those were ordinary ashes. What do you think would have happened if I were a dishonest man? You would be sucking the air for breath as his skin turned the color of rotten eggplant. He shakes his head at the thought. I'm sorry, what are you trying to prove? Wars can be fought with more than just blunt objects. uncomfortable with poisons can be as unnerving as spooning a scourge. But in truth, these seemingly innocuous powders and potions can be your most enthusiastic friend on the battlefield. I'll have a look at your friends, but if you even think of poisoning me, I'll have your head. Drowsy drop. Like, cool. I don't need any of those. Cool little law you got there, though. You'll be dead before long. Excuse me. I said you'll be dead before long. Immense crystals envelop what remains of the land in all directions. Demura.
Can't do that.
Resto. How do you acquire them? Blood of the dead. It's but a success. My word, 10 dodge on an accessory. This is fucking awful. Fatiguing toxin, cans, leaf, like, great. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Swig of insight. Temporarily. Okay. Cool little subsystem. I think it's particularly useful. Charm. My word, 10 control life. Dire remedy. Well, that's a unique potion as far as I can see. Cool, that's it. Yeah, I'm glad I got this last. A small collection of structures rest precariously on a sheer cliff. Yeah, I'm glad I left this the last because fart sound. Ocean Spire. So let's do everything else first. Aurora Spire. Boop. Hi, trainers. Got anything for me? They won't. In fact, it doesn't fucking matter. Let's not waste our time. It's the Ocean Spire, because I'm pretty sure that's where I've got the blacksmith who are researching artifacts, and that's what I want. Uh-huh. The commander's plate. Redeploy. Will command call battle researchers but untie. Great. So, how's your head? Start the cat. Ah, it's a new one. Oh, that's a shame. We did need that, so it's quite disappointing that it's gone. Still don't have enough iron. Chat appears in it. Now that everything is gone and silence has taken over, we could probably make this not. Yeah, okay, let's do that. We should definitely upgrade the Mage Bane Helm. Ah, because it requires iron. That's why I didn't do it before. Whoops. Being whispered. Well, I'm glad you've achieved peace, even if it did cost all this. Super guide. Because this is also legendary. There you go. You're welcome. More, Harm's Way. These are legendaries. Great Bow is, but it's already past work. No, no. No, no. I'm out of bronze now. How do you get enough of this? Ridiculous. Good lord. No. Oh, okay, that makes sense. I need to do a quick Google to make a joke, and that's a very embarrassing sentence, so please forgive me for it, but... Okay, there we go. Right, so... Back to pretending I know what I'm talking about. Well, someone call for Ernest Hemingway, because we've got a farewell to heads. And he's already written a farewell to arms. What have you made for me? It's supposed to carry like 1 billion camping supplies. Okay. I picked up one. I don't think it's like... Okay. Whoop. Now to my library. I'll go to the mountain spire, talk the croissant room, talk to the device at the center to see if it's got something to say. Right, so great progress. Have 8 scrolls and Deathbringer. Cool. Like motherfucker, because I don't settle scrolls. God, I want this so bad. Time long. No. There's no way to speed this up, is there? Oh well. Just in case there's a sort of, you've got all the spires, let's... That's impressive, let's update the lore you can learn from this fucking thing. Concentrate. Up here you can begin the same trance that showed you glimpses of the previous spire. 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other things that aren't lit up? Jeez. You've been holding out on me? Crafting supplies? How dare you? I'll pay for this. I'll pay for it in the form of buying my junk. Since it's commander's plate. Well, the commander's plate's unique, so I'm not going to do that. Oh my god, I think there's a bedroll where I can sleep free. Yeah. I like to rest for 48 hours. Let me rest for 400 days. Dash wheel. Encounter in the burning library. Amidst a copse of blackened trunks, you find a stretch of cloudy water. Faint tendrils of steam rise from the surface in slender curls. Thin brown grass grows almost to the water's edge before giving way to bare grey stone dusted with a thin layer of soot. The scent of brimstone hangs in the warm, stagnant air, joined by something else, the faintest vibration of power just beyond your human perception. The water seems to issue from a small cavern set into a hillock 100 yards north. Bathe. You gain Arcane Infused. We've had that encounter before. I just read it to make sure. I don't want to tease you all. Not like that, at least. Alright. We ready? No, we're going to rest. I want daytime. Alright, Mr. Shadow Man, come out in the middle of the day. It's still pretty dark here, actually. You hear him before you see him. He's already waiting, a silhouette in the darkness.
You have done well in the tiers. I would judge you are a hunter second to none, save for me.
Tears in Shadow is best hunter.
Good start. She snorts, scratching lazily at the other side of one teat. He cocks his head to one side, and though he says nothing, you get the mild impression that he's entertained by your traveling companion's antics.
So, you found the Azure Shield. You're now the inheritor of one of the tier's most prized relics. Assuming you remember half of what I've taught you, there should be a few left in the tiers that could best you in a duel. But just to be safe, let's give it a quick test, shall we?
Raise your shield. Is you a shield, gain average renown. He darts for you, daggers drawn. Covering the distance faster than should be humanly possible, he pops from shadow to shadow around you, deftly, without uttering a sound, before striking at last for your back. But having anticipated, no, lured, the angle of his slash, you are easily able to wrench your shield around in time, deflecting the edge of his blade with a loud screech. A sort of assuredness fills you in response, warm and heady magic from the relic, and you know without a shadow of a doubt that as long as you hold to your defense, he won't be able to touch you.
Impressive. You're faster now than when we last fought.
Lore. While most Fatebinders glean their proficiency in combat through extended training with the Fatebinder of Balance, Kaleo, you're one of the few recruits of your year promising enough to undergo additional, more intensive tutelage under Blade and Mark. Of your 5-person wholly immersive survivor class, you were the only one to crawl away with both your life and limbs still intact. He shadow walks, or rather runs. He lunges, he pops, jabs and sifts and stabs for several more attempted attacks. At last, yielding, he slinks back.
Well, that was fun, but that's enough for now. We have other matters to discuss. I'll admit, I'm surprised. After such great efforts building trust, you chose, or perhaps cannot help but follow, the solitary path. I've seen what you can do. You are no mere wild talent. You are something far more unusual, and more dangerous. The other Archons will fear you, envy you, hate you in almost every manner. And none take this hatred to such sublime depths as the voices of Nerat. He has begun the marching chant and mobilized the Scarlet Chorus against you. You should be flattered. Only Graven Ash has ever enraged the voices this dearly.
If they are marching against his Vendrian's well would be the likely place of attack.
You should return to your lands at once, lest you wish to see the mountain spire overrun with hordemen. When you have secured your own yard, we will discuss the next steps.
Wait, I have questions. I didn't know better. I think you're as dogged as me. What do you want to know? What do you know about Kyros? He shrugs. I know more about Kyros than most, which means I know enough to keep my mouth shut. How did the Overlord come into power? Such things were before my time, but from what I understand, Kyros did not join the Archons with charisma and cooperation. It was the power of the Edict that terrified many into bowing. Once a trio of Archons answered to Kyros, it became a matter of time until all others bowed. Many have long wondered if Kyros was born with the power of the Edict, or if it was learned through training or experience. I know not. It surprised me little to learn the Overlord was born able to utter edicts. If the Overlord was indeed born, I have my doubts. What's the Overlord like in person? That's what you want to know? Kid, you should be worried about what the Overlord is like from afar. No one to suffer fools lightly. How did you come to serve the Overlord? Let Mark favor too. Where I come from, there's an old saying. If you strike at the chieftain, don't miss. I struck at Kyros. I didn't kill her with the first blade. Didn't get a chance for a second. So as penance you were made to serve. I assumed I'd be drawn and quartered, but instead I was offered a vassalage. To some that means servitude, but to me it means steady contracts and legal impunity. So I accepted my punishment, and the rest has been history. Why do you think the Overlord is allowing the Archons to fight? I was expecting a dumber question. Kyros, sure, can appear fickle. Cairn was treacherous and vocal about it and gets an edict dropped on his head. The voices and Ash openly bicker and Kyros just watches. You don't know the Overlord, it can all seem random and erratic. I assure you, Kyros is nothing if not deliberate. I would guess Kyros is tired of the Archons of War and Secrets. There's no need for both, so why not let the lateral lack of rapport solve itself by allowing the stronger to slay the weaker? Let me ask someone else. Maybe another time. I'm so curious if you're in good, kid. With a nod, he fades into the darkness. Standing tall. Return to Vendrian's Well Spire. Fate of the Forge. Monhas? Word-rich report that you have dealt with the seditious mercenaries claiming for themselves the mantle of defenders of Lethian's Crossing. With the gratitude of both myself and the Overlord. The disruptions in the settlement long stymied the production of iron goods for the war effort. Forge Master Zdenia personally thanked me for your intervention. Congratulations. The Forge-bound guild are a strong and tireless ally to possess. To the new adjudicator, Archon of Justice. Right. And Spire, Vendrian's Well. Boop. And we're back where it all began. Well, not all of it. We're back on top of everything. Fret button on us. You've made new friends, I see. Nidavel gestures lazily toward the panorama of the valley below, at the siege camps dotting the perimeter of your citadel. I'm here at Blettenbach's behest. Should you fall, I will be in possession of the spire ahead of our enemies. And though I was not instructed to aid you, he didn't specifically forbid me from cleaving a few skulls, should I feel so inclined. He grins, both boisterous and eager. Truly maddening thing is not that Narada set a teeming throng clamoring for your head, but that he sent yet a slice of the warriors he'd amassed at the cacophony. Assuming you survive this day, we'll need to... Massive sculpture rumbles, shaking the masonry of the spire and sending him off balance. Croissant Room's doing something with him. The orb in the center of the resonator spins with the push of some unseen force. Where the structure once exuded warmth, now it gives off a ferocious heat that singes your face the longer you stare into it. Sound like music swarms in the air around the structure, but it's painful and disharmonious to your ears. By Kyros' hairy backside. Ab covers her ears and takes a step back from the structure at the center of the spire. That music is awful. It feels like my teeth are ripping their way out of my mouth. Do you hear it? She attempts to sign a rune, only to see her pattern fizzle into steam. It's your name. Listen real close, and it's your name said over and over and over until it's one mystic wail. Kills in Shadow snaps and snarls at the air, momentarily pained by the pitch of the spire's song. She cracks her spine and pops her shoulders, shifting uncomfortably on her bare cast feet. Do not like the spire's howling. Sounds of slithering scourges of many and more bane, chasing and biting at a beast woman's heels. She tilts her face toward the sky, a dusky snout sniffing side to side, eyes squeezed shut and her purpled lips peel back in a satisfied smirk. But can smell. Song is making Alpha stronger, yep. Well, this is shit. Sierra knows to shout over the disharmonious music. You'd think a spire would know some better songs, but I guess there's no accounting for taste. She refocuses on you with a mixed expression. You do realize that the energies of this place are all centered on you. I don't know what makes you so special. The spire is now fully awake. Its long dormant currents of energy dance to your presence. What was that? The Fatebinder of War crouches low, steadying himself against the vertigo of a too long glance over the edge. An assault against the spire's foundation. Earth-shaker magic, perchance. No, it couldn't be. Does the ruler of the spire have a mystic link to this place? Give me a minute and I'll get to the bottom of this. I've heard Rogueless prattle on a great deal about the spire that thrusts a blade into the sky, as well to your mastery of its magic. Before the enemy comes to claim what is ours, I suggest you explore whatever link you have to this tower. Let us hope that Kyros has some ward that can be enacted. He shrugs. Else we'll have no defense but to hurl loose stones from the spire's edge. When I broke the Edict of Fire, I was flooded by an intuition of how it all works. I could try proclaiming it without Kyros' words. Wait a minute. I don't want to proclaim it. Let's do 4. The spire resonates my voice. I'll shout to the valley that I have an edict from Kyros. That should get them running. They'll realize quick enough that we're bluffing. But with any luck, some of them will run rather than risk the consequence. He settles you with a scowl, shaking his head with a sigh. I'll ignore your illicit impersonation of our overlord. This once. Use the resonator. Mystic hum of the spire pulses through the caverns of your heart. Ancient structure awaits your command. There's still so much that doesn't make sense. I'll second that. Seems like just yesterday I was training you to take a punch. Now you're... What do I call you? The Archon of Spires? The air ripples with heat, and the spires hum. A low chanting of your name echoes through your head. I'm not sure who's actually in control here. Is the spire enhancing my powers, or am I fueling the power of the spire? Your mind drifts to bygone days and past events. Along with a rush of memories you know as your own, comes a sort of images, voices, and pangs of joy and sadness, either long forgotten or remembered by someone else. Heat of the burning library still radiates in our lungs and heart. While it's a bit disconcerting that you occasionally exhale steam, the effect seems a harmless reminder of the power lurking inside you. The clawing weight of granite over your head, the pressing slabs of gneiss against your chest. These memories of Cairn now live in your mind, as does the recipe of his undoing. Pinpricks of electricity spark behind your eyeballs, and the slightest breath in fills your lungs with a rush of moist air. You move to brush rust and bronze dust from your skin, only to realize the sensation is just a phantom itch, the blade grey. They say only the Overlord can create an edict. It has never been clear if the Overlord can destroy an edict. And when an edict is resolved, what becomes of the colossal quantities of mystic energy bound into said edict? Half of me is rather curious, almost jealous, wondering what it is that you're experiencing when this thing speaks, whatever it does to you. The other half is glad that your mind is being violated by an ancient edifice, not mine. The edicts you've encountered crowd into your immediate memory. Whatever splinter or fragment of the edicts you help resolve have taken root, flowering into your mind as intuitive understanding. I can't have been the first person to mess with this device. You feel a presence standing adjacent to you in space, but centuries away from you in time. For a moment, she seems aware of you, or perhaps you're remembering her speaking to someone standing in the very same spot. She speaks to the spire, and the spire listens, echoing her words, and while she speaks with conviction, her words are not edicts. She lacks the understanding, the conviction. Images of a half-dozen figures swarm through your mind. All of them walked atop this ancient perch, and each discovered but a sliver of the spire's potential. Does the spire reveal anything? There have been visitors here before, but it seems none of them understood Spire as well as I. The Spire didn't just appear out of thin air, but at the same time, I think its original owners are long gone. But my link to the Spire is confounding. Why me? And with that, you hear your own voice echo in your mind. And with that, Kyros' edict of execution should be no more. Your mind flashes back to the assault of Ascension Hall to the moment you fulfilled the wording of Kyros' edict. Sensations of searing heat and chilling cold course through your body as you relive the weightless moment when the edict broke. The fateful instance when the levy vanished and the arcane currents of Kyros' magic were set free. It was in this moment that the spire's old sigil of awakening, long covered by its prior occupants, was set ablaze by the arcane tempest. The spire knows at the first moment it found you. And so, now you know this too. But whether the meeting was by accident or design is unknown to both of you. Clapping his hands and waving for your attention, Nubel signals you back to the present. Monhas! You still with us? Did the spire enlighten? It was a flash of the assault on Ascension Hall, and the resolution of the Edict of Execution. The arcane backlash of the broken edict seems a probable cause. When you do that, and you listen to the spire, the same look on your face as when Bled and Mark cast his senses out through the shadows. The air ripples with heat. The spires and the tears are linked. Just how far does this connection go? As soon as your mind flashes the intent of your question, you lose sense of your feet and your vision expands onto the spires on the horizon. Meditate and silence your thoughts. As you would command your arms to extend, you think outward, your mind feeling cognizant of the verticality of the spire. You follow this sensation down to the soil, and this sensation stretches underground, radiating through the Vendrian Well Valley and branching out to the old walls that ring the mountains, and from there out to the surrounding old walls and spires of the tiers. You wish a soft hum into the resonator and then fall silent, searching your awareness across the tiers to see how far your voice can be felt. The power of the edict swells inside of you, yet your voice is but a whimper everywhere Kyros' edict still holds sway. But where Kyros' edicts no longer churn, your voice echoes with power. Should you will it, the spy will resonate your voice across these lands, enacting a new edict of your own making. How do I get the feeling there's a law somewhere against communing with the spies? No one learn anything? The spire is showing me the breadth and width of my power. It is for me alone to know. This is quite remarkable. All of it. Rogalus would be amazed one of his students is now a master of a spire. Well, more jealous and amazed. I'm not trying to give you a name. Is the spire enhancing my powers or am I infueling? So I want to redo this and then ask a different question. Kyros' edicts make sense to me. The spire can amplify my voice and my power. I'm confident this will work. Growling in approval, Kills and Shadow nods at your statement. A sensation of power that was at first a pressure in your lungs now surges with each beat of your heart. All of the tiers look upon the spires and think of you. Their fear, their admiration, their terror, all with this spire. All of this can be harnessed and used to your purposes. The edicts you've encountered crowd into your immediate memory. Whatever splinter or fragment of the edicts you help resolve have taken root. And go. There's something else I'm curious about. Focus on the spire. Clearing your head, your focus returns to the moment. Okay, now let's do it. Let's touch the resonator and concentrate. What could possibly go wrong? As you touch the stone structure, your sense of the moment slows, and you feel the entirety of the tiers at your fingertips. The spire stands ready to channel your will. Select a region to review its current edict or issue a new one. Vendrian's Well. Unknown, unknown. Vital power. Fire. Incredible heat, sometimes flame. Magical energy and living creatures storing it in the rocks can lead to random damage to strike your enemies during combat. 50 magic skills, frost damage converted to health. We can bang. What about the other edicts, huh? Where do I learn these and how? 2000. I don't want to issue an edict. I await your next move. I think I have to. Use Resonator. Repel the enemies laying siege to your citadel. You have to. The Edict of Fire. Whoa. Fuck. The binder takes a step back, scanning the view of the valley below you, filled with the magic of your edict. Actually worked. Monhas, how... I mean, did Kyros grant you an edict to proclaim? Having broken the edict, I seem to be able to recreate it, if in a limited fashion. You find that you must be evil. Like, Lux has got it exactly right. Though I find it wondrous, it is hard to believe. You understand? There have been a great many fate binders made to proclaim the words of our overlord, but never has the act conferred such power upon them. Rather, most who proclaim edicts die during or die young. He runs his hand over his brow, eyes widened. Again, after what I've now witnessed, surely I knew nothing. This changes everything. Every eye on the Tiers and the North will be upon you now. But first you must survive this battle. Go and finish your foes while your edict has them off balance, terrified and running. Act now before they can regain their senses. He claps a heavy hand on your shoulder to bid you well. Now I must stand sentry here, at the ready to take the spire should you fall. If anyone makes it up here, they'll have to get through me. Good luck, my friend. And it's like... Is the power of an edict inherently evil? You could argue about it for a while. I say yes. Exhibit A. Bye, fuckers. Gang of soot-stained scarlet chorus trails behind death now, a mixture of awe and confusion resting upon their faces. Willing to burn your own valley to ashes just to put us down. She nods with a toothy grin. I almost like your style. She looks behind her to the hundreds of fleeing choirmen. Think I needed all those unwashed idiots? This means that me and the top gangers get the best pickings. We'll be happy to lay you to rest in this little funeral pyre you've built for yourself. She turns to her shoulders and lets out a primal howl, her warriors echoing battle cry in dissonant tones. Insufficient reputation. Yeah, probably because they don't like me. With rage in their eyes, the warriors ready their weapons, eager for a fight. Fools! Did you not hear me proclaim that edict? Either I cast that edict by myself, or did so with the Overlord's blessing. Think that through very carefully. Do not liken yourself to the Overlord. Your magic may have startled my weaker troops, but your magic is nothing my own blood chanters could not affect. Isn't that right? She looks to one of her mages for a nod of approval, but is met instead with a blanched look of fear, mouth agape in terror. Enough talk. You'll be trampled and forgotten. Only the voices of Narat will remember your name.
Heads up, we have company.
Edict of Fire. Plus 15 to all magic skills. Doesn't include law, which is a shame, but you know. So, the surge of glory. Well, it's like additional reputation could be really good friends with the Scarlet Chorus, and it's not fucking happening.
Stop dodging straight for friends and claws! Shadow.
The Crimson Great Spear. Cool.
Right.
More tally to the body count. See that? I'm not entirely useless.
Bleed out, you little shit.
Boop. Return to the mountain spire. Cool, thanks. Now what? Can I end my own edict easily? Shocked and demoralized by your display of power and with the ease in which you dispatch your leader, Scarlet Chorus fighters lose their nerve and scatter in defeat. The survivors carry with them the fearful moments of the powerful Archon Monhas, a being of enormous might who can cast an edict with the same authority as the Overlord. Confusion sets in across the realm. Amid the whispers and misinformation, one fact remains consistent. The Overlord's power has been challenged. You safely assume that such rumors are making their way back to Kyros. Sweat stings your eyes as your edict bathes your spire in oppressive heat, its weight felt everywhere in the valley. Slowly, the temperature wanes, turning from nearly unbearable to almost tolerable. Over the next few days, the extreme heat eventually dissipates as your edict ends, releasing Bandrian's well from its molten grasp. You gather a small council of your closest allies and plan your next steps from the safety of your spire. No sooner do you get started than Callio, Fatebinder of Tunin, pays a visit bearing an important message. That's the end of Act 2. I don't think Act 3 is very long, but we'll see. I keep hearing about this little spy you've been calling your own. Nodding with a smirk, Fatebinder Callio appears over the edge of the tower. Now that you've slaughtered those who would take your land, I think your claim is as official as it gets. What did I do to earn a visit from a Fatebinder? Do you have an edict to proclaim against me? A fair guess? I was expecting Tuna to hand me a scroll case with Kyros' seal on it. She shakes her head with a chuckle. After what you just pulled, I would have wagered my last ring that Kyros would cast a very selective edict against you, but alas, the Overlord has other plans in mind. No one's entirely sure what to make of you these days, Monhas. They all say you spoke an edict of fire. Not a proclamation of an edict of Kyros, but your own edict of fire? Your own mystic conflagration? Oh no, mere Fatebinder. Well, that much we can be certain. You proclaimed and broken the Overlord's edicts perhaps one too many times. If I had known you could do this when I first met you, I'd maybe have tried an earnest to kill you. I hope for the sake of Tyranny that the right person has inherited this gift. I don't know what to make of you, Fatebinder. Proclaiming and breaking an Overlord's magic. Blaming these awful towers. It should come as no surprise an edict is within your grasp, but I still find room for surprise. You're powerful in ways that gang bosses and mages aren't. You've commanded this place to do your bidding and unleash something incredible on the world. That isn't the work of a Fatebinder. If anything, it's the work of an Archon.
Beastwoman will follow Alpha from here to ends of tier lands and farther still. Will Pawpaw prowl deep into cold north, hunting armies of Kyros at Alpha's side. Together, Shadowhunter and Alpha will slaughter whole of Prima's tribe.
I don't have any idea how you're able to do this, but it isn't power that any scholar can wield. This is something else. You're not some ambitious hedge mage who learned it out of a book. You're more like an Archon, where it just comes naturally. She shakes her head with a grin. Always knew you'd be a delightful bit of trouble, but I didn't think you had a touch of the Overlord's power in you. Why didn't you tell me? Please. It seems a bit presumptuous to claim the Overlord's power. I still don't fully understand this power just yet. She chuckles, shaking her head at you with a grin. For a moment, I was envious of this power of yours. Then I realized I'm not the one with threat to the Overlord painted on my forehead. I come bearing orders direct from the Overlord. Helio clears her throat, her voice becoming somber and severe. Kyros has decreed two things. First, the Overlord has demanded that the one and only Archon is fit to rule the tiers. That one and only one Archon is fit to rule the tiers. To that end, the Archons that are settled through death or dominance who is the one Archon fit to inherit the tiers. And the second decree? Kyros has decreed that you are the newest Archon. Fatebinder Callio bows with an exaggerated flourish. So the other Archons now have orders to control or destroy you, and the other way around. Her face becomes a beaming smile. See? This is why I try to avoid getting Kyros' attention. And to be clear, this is a command from Kyros, but not an edict. Correct, there's no edict backing this order. She smiles a toothy grin. Such encouragement hardly seems necessary when the task is its own reward. The Overlord has merely rescinded Kyros' peace. The Archons may kill and maim each other without breaking any laws. Hello? Oh, hi! Little baby gone to bed. Sweet little one. Tuck the dog in again. Kyros knows, rightly so, that enmities old and new will drive the Archons to mutual destruction. His lord need only remove the pretense of peace and watch ensuing violence. Kalia shrugs with a smile. Would you provide another do or die edict? What of the court? Have you heard what Tyranny and Bled and Mark think of this? As per usual, Tyranny is the emotional range of Pummers, and Bled and Mark seemed almost giddy. I think the old Shadow was already putting names on his daggers. I was wondering if Bled and Mark would hear this order and probably stab Tyranny, but no, it would seem the Archon of Shadow is happy to serve Tyranny. Makes sense, I've never known the old Shadow to crave that kind of power. She clears her throat, her voice growing somber. You'll have to deal with them too. I fear greatly how that will turn out. I imagine Tyranny is too loyal to bow to you, and Bled and Mark too proud to accept you as his better. He nods quietly for a long moment. There's no way this ends well for some of us. I think I'm more troubled by this sudden promotion to Archon. By definition, an Archon is someone who generates magic from themselves and doesn't channel the power of others. Since I assume you cast that edict without reading the prepared words of Kyros, otherwise what's suffice, Archon isn't fully incorrect for what you are. But I would agree, your power is beyond the master of shadows or ice or talking to trees or whatever other powers Archons have shown throughout the ages. Consider for a second the greater mystery is not why you're being considered an Archon, it's why you're being allowed a chance to live. Kalia shrugs. All I know is that the Archon, the Overlord, rarely improvises. It's to be the Archon of Edicts? Not exactly, just Archon for now. A bit unorthodox, but that's all the information I received. Regulus insisted we should call you the Archon of the Tears. At least in any case we might be overheard, since Archon of Edicts could sound like denigration of the Overlord. Realize this presents a problem for me, right? My hand just writes Fatebinder Monhas out of habit. The effort it would take to retrain myself to write Archon, I'm not sure I have the years left in me. But I didn't ask to be an Archon. And I didn't ask to be a Fatebinder. Kalia shrugs, pointing at herself. But I make it look easy. I don't think anybody asked to be an Archon. If anything, those who try to wear the title without Kyros' blessing really survive to be remembered. That is true. I don't think Kyros decides who has the power to be an Archon, but Kyros is certainly selective of who gets the title. I'll check. Never bowed to Kyros. Her power is her own. She claimed the title of Archon because, well, when she was younger, the Overlord was just a distant tale, so wearing the title didn't arouse confidence. I don't think the Archon gives anyone power in any direct sense. If anything, I bet Kyros would rather all of us were mewling idiots devoid of magic. It'd be easy to control that way. Kyros can give and take titles. And titles change how people see you, how they view your authority, or how big a threat they perceive you to be. And considering your promotion came along with an order for the Archons to all kill each other, it sure seems like this is part promotion, part test. If the Archons kill you, Kyros needn't worry about whatever you're becoming. You're becoming something useful. Kyros seems happy to use you to kill the other Archons. Thank you for delivering this message. That will be all. Tune in favor 2. First step is deciding you won't bow to one of the other Archons. Kalia offers a smug nod. Wish you the best of luck in your upcoming struggle. Know that when you come for Bled and Mark and Tyranny, I and the other Fatebinders won't interfere. Let's get one thing clear. I want no part of this little contest. Archon. I bow to you. The rest of you madmen can fight over the right to rule this madness shithole. I accept. Thank you. Soon bows with a graceful sweep of her arm and a curtsy. Just don't let no rat get away with the bat of the eyelashes and a polite surrender. Another question? Me and the other binders have been asking. Can you do this again? Nineveh believes in you. Another who shall remain nameless takes a more cynical stance that the Overlord has a hand so far up your arse she can puppet your mouth, and you couldn't cast a second edict if you tried. She sizes you up head to toe. Me, I think you have it in you. Or at least I like the idea of proclaiming an edict of yours someday. Now that you mention it, curiosity demands we try having you proclaim an edict of mine. Are you? Her hand darts in front of her mouth. Serious? You'd let me do that? Delantry, take a dictation, please. Quill in hand, and before you finish your request, Lantry reaches for his boldest red inks. You meant to say, Lantry, please record my second edict for all time and memory, right? address a proclamation against the Stone Sea in the chorus's headquarters of cacophony. He writes your words with deliberate, graceful penmanship. Proclaim an edict of fire. With the edict complete, Calico approaches the edge of the spire and, with as much protection as her voice can muster, reads aloud your edict. And nothing happens. Calico slumps her shoulders with a disappointed whimper. I'm certain my voice is an essential requirement. It helps the sculpture here atop the spire resonate sound. But your power most certainly worked. You used your own voice. So we at least know that your voice is an essential part of invoking your powers. Or at least so far. I would imagine Kyros spoke a great number of edicts before learning how to write them down for others to proclaim. In truth, I am a bit relieved. While I relish the thought of being your harbinger of non-negotiable death, I'm not sure being the conduit for such arcane forces is something I should be taking so lightly. Then again, perhaps your past proclamations are part of what set the seed of this power in you. She taps her chin in thought. Anyway, it's an honor to be part of this experiment. She rolls a parchment proclamation into a satchel. I say we try this again some other day. Learn more about what you can do with your power, and someday I'll be your herald of doom. It'll be a date. Gain wrath with two names. With a nod, Callio begins to make her way to the exit. When you rule Taradas, look me up. If you're successful, I know I'll be in need of a new Archon to serve. I know I'm mostly sober, but we're clear, you did just issue an edict, right? My entry taps the scroll to his tongue, unsure of what next to write. First you cast an edict, and then this full-on war of Archons. This chapter of the Chronicle is reading like fiction. Kyros has ordered all the Archons to fight it out until only the strongest remain. I think we can now safely say that the Scarlet Chorus philosophy has been vindicated. A rumbling mutter stirs from under Parrot's helmet, devoid of any cogent words.
Alpha birthed own words of power like humans prima called Kyros. Is better mystic than broodmother to kills in shadow, then Stonestalker's 100-blood, then beastwoman Archon slaughtered by Mark of Shadows.
She snorts and grins savagely.
Kills in shadow knew Alpha was the most powerful human in the whole of Tears lands.
A curved claw taps the side of her snout.
Knows was not wrong.
One last thing. Hesitating before she leaves, Kelly taps the parchment she's been holding to her forehead with a self-deprecating scoff. All this talk of you being the second coming of the Overlord, and I almost forgot my duties. This is a court summons from Bled and Mark, Tyrann's assassin. I suggest you read it carefully as part of your preparations. Your survival may depend upon it. Good luck, Archon. Yeah. Archon, we must speak before this goes further than it already has. I know you've got a little thing or two on your plate, but if you can make some time for me, a little bird has brought us some interesting news, and I'd hate to have to go stabbing people without you. Jesus, alright. Jesus, face and begore. Turn the font scale up a bunch. We'll see if that helps. There you go. Is that better, Loxy? Finishing the last pen strokes of a note running about his left arm, Lantry looks up at you with a nod.
Not to steal your glorious day in the sun, but I must say, now all my notes on you are suddenly worth 10 times their weight in iron. My journals will melt the linens off the ladies, I tell you.
It's so much bigger on my screen. I'll make it even larger for you in a moment.
What's that you say? Buxom, nubile lasses with an interest in old men who know history. You need a definitive tractatus on the trials and tribulations of the Archon of the Tears? Ha! Well, you're in luck. I think one can safely conclude that you have the Overlord's attention, and that of the Tears. Soon, all of Taratas. You realize, I trust, I hope, that nobody other than Kyros has ever cast an edict until you.
My newfound powers don't change the fact that I am loyal to Kyros, but I'm likely to be perceived as a threat all the same.
If that's true, then the Overlord would be wise to treat you well, for your powers would make you an enforcer second to none. But I imagine Kyros became Kyros by taking few chances with the competition. I could see the Overlord playing it safe and disposing of you. At the same time, if you really were a meaningful threat, you'd have already been the victim of an edict, or bled in Mark's daggers. So this has me rather curious. Just what does the Overlord wish to do with you?
Happen to know when Kyros first cast an edict?
Good question. In parts north, it's commonly held that Kyros' Edict of Dust was the first, but it was cast in the year 11. It was just the first edict to ripple across the whole of Tyranny. If you lived somewhere that used to have antelope, you probably think that's the first edict of the Overlord. But here, the answer is given to us by the Overlord's own sense of posterity. Year 0 of Kyros' calendar is said to correspond to the day Kyros went from warlord to wearer of many crowns. A victory won when the first Edict of Storms shocked both the Cloud Barons and the realm of Medrev to capitulate.
Antelope, is that an animal?
Yes, or it was at least, until they were all wiped out by the Edict of Dust. Or that's as best we've pieced it together from the records. From what we've gathered from their skeletons, they were some sort of mute beast man that ran on 4 legs.
Antelope are not like beast women.
She counters flexing her claws once, twice, 3 times in annoyance.
Antelope have hooves for fleeing. Beast women have claws for killing. Antelope don't eat meat, are spooked easily, are large but helpless, lumber but lack reason, are prey. Silverback tribe hunted antelope extinct.
She sniffs and flicks aside a pointed stare.
Old Ink Mystic tells many strange, stupid tales. Thinks to know everything.
I suppose I'm more of an expert in living things, like birds, and can't quite confirm or deny what you're saying, but just forget I said anything.
Are you sure history hasn't just edited or forgotten those who would rival the Overlord?
Well, I have a hard time believing that someone would cast an edict and not have it noticed.
Yes, but maybe a rival casts an edict. Kyros kills the rival, takes credit for the events.
Well, as of now, I've seen with my own eyes that the Overlord is not unique in this regard. And I suppose you're all the evidence I need to throw suspicion on the record. Now, if you are right, that implies the Overlord has no qualms silencing and murdering those who pose a threat. In your case, at least my written record of you might survive. See? I'm being optimistic.
We'll find out soon enough. We should get going.
Indeed. Once again, I find myself wishing the days and nights would slow down just a hair. Never enough hours to journal these dense days. Let us be on our way.
Options, graphics, font scale, 125% size. That's all we've got. That's as large as it gets. Font size queen. Speak with
I have come
Barrett.
to regard knowledge as a kind of curse, and I better understand the Overlord's injunctions against too much of it.
I'm so sorry, Lexi. That's all I got.
In knowing why my armor clings to me, I think I began feeling it grow into me. Has it buried itself deeper within me? Or do I imagine this?
He sighs.
Kyros has ordered that the Archons determine a ruler of the tiers from among themselves. This is the time to go to Archon Ash, submit to him, and beg clemency.
How many disfavored have we killed together? Is that not a capital offense in your legion? Take the final step. Reject Ash and pledge yourself to me.
How dare you, Archon? Any atrocities I have committed have been as your weapon. The General understands that a soldier follows orders. I am Graven Ash's shield before all others, and nothing you can say will convince me otherwise.
Ash's otherwise admirable devotion to his troops is curdled into obsession, Barrack. To protect his people, he would burn every peasant in town in the tiers and salt the remains.
You intend to convince me that it is a weakness that General Ash loves his legionnaires?
Of course not. Only that in his devotion he misses some of the paths available to him. Do you want to slay every man, woman, and child of the Tears, Barrack?
No, I would not. And yes, the General displays moments of overzealousness.
That's a shame, Luxie. I'm very sorry for the concussion brain. You may have to, like, the auditory processing being not great at the moment is like, shit, you know, I'm sorry. I wish I could solve that as well. You may just have to sink in and lose some things. And ask me to go over plot beats, like, I'm happy to give summaries as well.
What would you have me do, Archon?
Do you, Barrack, son of Barrack Onan, hereby resign your commission to the disfavored Legion and the Archon of War?
I do.
Do you furthermore swear to me your fealty? Do you swear to serve me as Archon in all things and protect me with your life?
I swear it.
Then I do accept your oath and extend to you my protection. Rise, my warrior. Barrack rises to his feet and cranes his helmeted head in either direction.
Nothing has changed, Fatebinder. You convinced me to renounce the Archon for nothing. I have committed treason.
Oh, it wasn't for nothing. Quite the contrary. I'll pleasure myself to this moment for years to come.
Then this confirms it. Only Graven Ash can rescind his protection.
You believed you could stand equal to the Archon of War. And I now bear the weight of your hubris. Make peace with the General Archon. I would not have you stand opposite him on the field of battle. Only tragedy can result.
New quest. Never free. Kill Graven Ash. Ash's Aegis keeps Barrack fused into his armor. The Overlord's decree demanding you face Graven Ash anyway. Killing him seems the most efficient way to free Barrack of his armor. Final judgment. Travel to Boston City. The final hunt. Travel to Cacophony. Travel to Ironheart. Was very close to break. I just want to talk to Verse. Hey, Binder, let me get someone off my chest. Verse nods to grab your attention. I burn inside. When I dance, it's like I'm trying to let out the fire to quench it in blood. Instead, I end up just stoking the flames. Shit, did any of that make sense? She smooths down her feathers and sighs. I think I follow. I always had such a strong connection to my Furies. That bond made me feel, I don't know exactly, like part of something. Now it feels like they're in me. They rise up when I dance, each time a little more restless. When we were going after Crocus and Orisa, I could almost hear them, like they were whispering to me, tugging from somewhere deep. Even I can't deny this all sounds a lot like, you know, him. She looks off into the distance. The voices of Narat. Kyros' bloody balls, yes, the voices of Narat. The thought alone, that could be anything like the voices of Narat, makes me want to flay myself. She inhales deeply, her chest rising, and lets it out through her teeth in a low, prolonged hiss. The voices of Narat is a parasite. You're a predator. Now, he's a parasite, sure, but that wasn't always true. Maybe it starts with the killing, and eventually you've got the others doing the killing for you. That's how Archons are made, right? Not Overlords. You worried about the Archon of Secrets? All the time. In the end, either he hollows you out or finds something worse to do with you. Sure, he can rip people's thoughts away, but what about the slower, more insidious stuff? Like how he fashions his eyes. She shudders. I guess that's what worries me. He's already made me his eyes on you. What if he wants to make me his eye too? There are worse names than 18th Eye. It is! This is the Croissant Route. My home base. The Mountain Spire. It is indeed my home base? Fortress? I just set it on fire as a defensive measure. Monhas, the Archon of Edict. There are worse names than 18th Eye. Sure, like 23rd Eye. If you don't want to turn into him, don't be like him. What exactly are you suggesting? The right corner of her lips. Lip twists. Leave the Scarlet Chorus. He's the only place I've ever felt at home. The group that gave me a purpose and taught me to dance. I think not. She smirks. I might be convinced to slit a certain fiery green throat and claim the chorus for my own. One more thing before I call it a day, Fatebinder. What is it? After we spoke to Essa, I slipped a scat some rings to keep an eye on the place and said word if anything out of the ordinary happened. She cracks her knuckles beneath her callous palms. Apparently there have been some strangers looking about. Like to head back to River's Break and see if we can't grab one. Maybe take a little knowledge out of it. But not, in a directly out of the head kind of way. She frowns sheepishly. I'll make it a priority. Thanks. Who knows? Maybe we'll dig up something we can use against the Archons. Let's get moving. War's not over yet. She nods. It's good to see you, Felspar. But I'm afraid, as a good friend Luxie stated, it is indeed break time. So I'm going to save and be back shortly. Be back in a minute. Hi. Cool. I will ask only once. You missive. Kid, I have to say, you never did play by the rules. But now you've ceased even pretending to serve the Overlord, to which the adjudicator is not amused. Fortunately, the chaos you have wrought in casting an unsanctioned edict hinders our campaign in the Tears and weakens belief in the Overlord. You will at once come to our court, largely, to offer penance for threatening Kyros' rule of the Tears. But do not fear, Tuna will preside without bias and order me to execute a sentence that is fair in the eyes of the law and only if you are found guilty at the trial. But I can promise you this. If you want to live, it would be unwise to ignore his summons. If and when you first wish to speak with the other Archons to beg mercy, we will not prevent you, but we would encourage you to refrain. At our behest, the voices of Narat and Graven Ash are also weighing the consequences of your bold-faced rebellion. Blood and Mark, Archon of Shadows and Court Blade. Hold a missive over candlelight. Kid, I have to say, you never cease to amuse. Unfortunately, you have become too large of a threat. Tuna will order me to execute you at the trial. If you want to live, ignore his summons and first speak with me and at Ashweald. Accept his advice. Blade grave. You shouldn't have issued an edict. What if I issue more? Anyway, I took a slightly longer break because I wanted to catch up on messages. And then, River's break. Sweet, we'll do that soon. And then, I, ate some Iron Hearth. Skills lips. Investigate further. We've seen this before, right? Merciful Kyros. Telluria almost cannot recognize it. Oh, nope. Alright. We haven't seen this before. Yeah. And then I was like, curry. So I ate my curry leftovers. So I've had dinner. What a surprise, me eating before 10:30 tonight. Sunlight struggles to punch through the thick brown clouds, casting long shadows from the jutting spars of warped bronze and iron that mark the blade grave. In a hazy distance, you can make out one of the squared form of the iron hearth, squatting high on the mountainside. You see a grey smear of smoke against the sky before you can reach the fissure. Bet my Wookiee. I dropped an M&M. From the lip of the broad gully, you see a handful of what is at first glance appear to be bonfires, but from the blackened skeletal limbs protruding from them, you guess that they burn on a fuel of human fat. The flames mark only a few of the bodies, however. Dozens of corpses, perhaps more than a full 100, cover the land below you. A sickly sweet stench of carrion assaults you as you pick your way into the crevasse. From above, the bodies seem to jumble motley with no discernible heraldry. You realize why as you make your way among the bodies. Many wear old, only ratty leathers, and the crimson sashes or face paint, marking them as conscripts of the Scarlet Chorus. Very 10 to 20 members of the Horde you locate and brutalize this favored legionnaire, their armor rent in a dozen places, their wounds enough to kill each 10 times over. Merciful Kyros, Barrack mutters, kneeling by one of the corpses. He touches its forehead. Telluria, I almost cannot recognize your sister. He looks to you. Archon, these soldiers died in the service to the Overlord. They deserve better than to be left to the elements. First notes. You planning on burying them all, big boy? Horde and Furies included? Don't be ridiculous, Stone Shield answers. Everyone here died sworn to Kyros, right? She crosses her arms. One deserves burial, don't they all? Seems that his favorite and Scarlet Chorus met in battle here. He suspected if there were survivors, they belonged to the Chorus, that his favorite would not have left their fellows to rot beneath an open sky. Bury his favorite. Might have feared from best. Bury both. It takes hours. You manage to dig a pair of mass graves, one for each of the two forces. Sweaty, filthy, and sick with the smell of your enterprise, you mark each mound with a set of standards. Leave the Valley of the Dead, your back aching, but your resolve bolstered. Yeah, like, there is a place. I do not remember the name of it, which is a shame, and I could look it up, but we're getting tired here. That is Janus cuisine. or at least marks all the things to Janus, and give my stomach is even more upset by onions and garlic. Which sucks because they're delicious vegetables. Alliums. Janus cuisine, Janus can't eat root vegetables, so no onions or garlic. So it's curry without onion or garlic. It's very good. I think I'm Gollum somewhere. I think it was Friday, and Mr. Jizz and I were like, well, no babysitter. We will rest. They all have something to say again. Hey, Merrick. I can scarcely believe it. You proclaimed an edict. You wielded the power of the Overlord. For a moment, perhaps, but it was enough to turn the tide of battle in our favor. It simply doesn't happen. The Overlord's magic is as unknowable as anything in Tyranny, as mysterious and, I was about to say, as unapproachable as the spires, but you have cleanly dispelled that. I am the Overlord's faithful servant. No doubt this power has been bestowed upon me for my loyalty. You devoted your life to studying the laws of Kyros and upholding them. I should hope this is a gift from Kyros, for if the Overlord did not choose you, you'd have this power. It may be your undoing. What do you suggest I do next? It may be too late to mend your ties with Kyros' hierarchy. If you continue to prove your worth, perhaps you can be invited back into the fold. I suppose the Kyros needs some time for introspection. Do it all. Wait for now. Let's be off. Of course, Big Bud. Archon. You try to piss everyone off? They just do this for fun. I'm not judging either way, I'm just curious. Casting an Edict of Vendry as well is a good way to shine a beacon on yourself, or paint a target. First crosses her arms and smiles. I saved your skin, didn't I? Sure did. For now. Like I said, I'm not trying to prod you or suggest you made the wrong call. Somebody likes to stay discreet until she has the opening to strike a killing blow. I find your public gesture of dominance, well, quaint, charming, in a dumb way. Kills in Shadow loyalty. Kills in Shadow watches you, unblinking, black pupils dilating wide across her crimson eyes. She parts her lips as she scents the air.
Alpha smells good. Makes Beast Woman want to hunt. Kill. Little Chitterbird has pledged to Alpha of Kills in Shadow. Is good for Chitterbird's chance of survival, but bad for Beast Woman's ears.
She rubs the ridge of a pointed ear, eyes lost in thought.
Fate Binder wants Beast Woman?
The reek of an unwashed feral animal, bloodied and battle-worn, swathes you like a wet blanket. You breathe through your mouth, keep from retching. I would proclaim an edict to make her fucking fade. The dark silhouette before you coalesces into the form of blade and mark. Daggers held in either hand, the Archon of Shadows steps towards you with a confident stride.
Fatebinder. No. Archon. Welcome back to Ashwield. You've been busy.
His eyes brighten with interest.
You cast an edict and became an Archon of something different indeed. You're not some wild talent breathing fire, pissing mercury, or transforming into an animal. You're tapping into the Overlord's vein of magic. Not many can walk as we do in the darkness. Not many can keep their sanity in a state of eternal night. Because you've proven you can, I'll give you this. The written testimony of a sage in witness at the Edict of Nightfall's proclamation several centuries ago. Figure out how to cast it, and in that region, we'll be unstoppable. Now there isn't an Archon in the tiers who isn't considering how best to handle you.
Taking a strike at me, then I should handle the other Archons first.
Right.
He toys with the double-edged dagger, flicking it idly and rolling it between his fingers.
You should focus first on the Archons of War and Secrets. If you can't get them to swear to you, end them. Unless, of course, you want to be felled by the combined might of their armies. A word of warning. Confront the Adjudicator at this time, and I'll have no choice but to fight you. Do not force my hand. I'd rather see you survive.
He nods once to you before seeping completely into the darkness. Fucker gave me a new edict. You see that? Encounter of the Burning Library. Your journey is interrupted by a messenger from the mountain spire. A short young man with a lank flop of dark hair and surprisingly full beard, the messenger bears bloodshot eyes and a nosed disposition. He presents your issuance the edict against your foes of Indrian's Well. The courier tells you the Valley of Apex has been beset by an ever-increasing number of Bane. The creatures seem inimical to all life, and the predations of the people of Apex hiding in terror rather than tending the fields. If this keeps up, the lands you've claimed will not be able to support your spire, regardless of how rapacious your tax collectors become. The messenger asks what orders you wish returned to the spire. No, we're not doing that. You don't force me to fight you. Yeah, he teleports behind you with the power of shadow. You press the messenger for more details. He tells you that there have been scattered Banes sighted throughout the valley, but they're thickest around Indrian's Well Citadel and in the mountains that ring the Old Dominion. They've attacked a handful of travelers and devastated livestock throughout the valley. Given that the farms are still recovering from the conquest, the rise of the Vendrian Guard, and the subsequent civil war between Archons, it couldn't be a worse time for Bane to appear in Apex. Give you orders. You consider best how to deal with the threat your edict has stirred. Lure the Bane away. You theorize that a focused act of magic by a mystic and another spire could draw the Bane away from the mountain spire. Wouldn't be a simple thing to compete with an edict, but it's a plan that could diffuse the issue without significant further bloodshed. Of course, you doubt the people in the area around the spire will appreciate the many Bane the magic attracts, but they should be better suited to deal with them than the farmers of Apex. Dawning Spire, Howling Rock. Dawning Spire at Howling Rock. You send your envoy to the spire with your orders. Every able-bodied magician available should come together at the spire's top and perform a group ritual. The working must last at least a night and a day, the missive states. And longer, if possible. The spire will magnify the magic, of course, and hopefully that it will call the Bane from the valley farmlands. The messenger thanks you for your time and leaves you to fulfill your command. It's funny, because I sent him there because the Aurora Spire is next to the tribe of beast women that have sworn fealty to me. They love killing Bane. How did they think?
Can't do that.
Big fan. Ah. Windborne ash assaulted your senses even before you reached Breather's Break. By the time the farmstead came into view, the burning smell was joined by those of the charred, rotting flesh and blasted vegetation. The house stands in ruins, the plaster cracked and blackened. First steps forward, arms slack at her sides, mouth slightly agape. What the Kyros-loving shit? Careful, Verse, it could be a trap. There's one with all the subtlety of a beast in heat, maybe. Her hands slip closer to her weapons. Let's poke around. Maybe there's something here that'll give us a better sense of who did this, or why. The charred and smoldering corpse of an older woman been unceremoniously dropped to the ground. Essa. Fuck. Burst sinks to her knees in the ashes and touches the charred and peeling face. After a moment of silence, she looks up to you and shakes her head. I could have given her a clean death. Instead, she ends up here. Burned alive. That's mercy for you. She glances down at her blackened palms. Are you okay? Why wouldn't I be okay? Let's just find the fuckers who did this. I've got some words for them. Some very hot, very sharp words. Burn? Impale? Pierce? Ignite? Skewer? Combust? I'm here if you need me. Shit, old man, all that reading has just done wonders for your critical thinking skills. This isn't your fault. No shit, this isn't my fault. When we find the fuckers whose fault it is, I'm gonna make damn sure they understand the pain of being roasted like a pig on a spit. Yep, yep, and after, feast on cooked human cooked as pig. No, eating humans, bad beast, bad. Siren recoils from the beast woman. Beast woman thinks bird girl might make good day snack. Too little meat for evening food, even if a rip cracked every drop of marrow from bones. She chuffs, her tongue flickering out across her upper lip. You stay over there, beast, and keep your rip cracking to yourself. Siren puts several strides between herself and Kills and Shadow. I'll think about it once I build up my appetite. First nods to Kills and Shadow. Let's figure out What happened here, Fatebinder? Then we'll go mete out some justice. Crates and plants litter the ground in disarray. What a mess. Whoever came here decided to throw down among themselves. If that doesn't scream Scarlet Chorus, I'm the last queen of Apex. At least when I lead chorus gangs, they focus on the enemy instead of one another. She laughs quietly. Perhaps strewn about during the scuffle. Shattered crates lay scattered and burned across the ground.
These were here before, weren't they? Can't say they seem very useful now.
Somebody pried this door open. Someone with iron. She runs a finger along the doorframe. It has favored me of the collective brain capacity of a crate filled with stone, but they treat their weapons like each one is a daughter of Kyros. Disgraceful. The Overlord and the Great General gifted us the iron that might spill the blood of our enemies, not to leave or open a stubborn door. Barrack glares at the door, his head bowed. These were here before, were they? I'd say they seem very useful now. Deep gouges mar this doorframe. A few slivers of blackened iron hide among the splinters. The quarter of the ruined home seems particularly charred. Look at this, Fatebinder. First points at the blasted remnants of the wall. I've set a lot of fires in my time, and this is that very special pattern of burning that only happens with magic. She kneels, fingers running over the ashes. Have fun! Nice of you to drop by, Feldspar. Enjoy your plastic soldiers. Also, S words. See these marks? Sigil work. Too clean for blood chanters. Probably a sage, right, I guess. Sages did this. If you know of another organized society of magic users who like to control information, I'll happily look their way. Good eye indeed. This was done with the sigil of fire by way of the Sun Queen, as opposed to that of the Thousand Embers erratic brand of fire. You can tell by the tined pattern in the bird edges. Overall boss pattern suggests a thorough understanding of modern expressive techniques, while the... He blinks, dropping into silence. And now I'm boring us all. Apologies. Scorch marks unusually focused and intense. The overhang behind the cheese seems to collapse from the fire.
Is there anything better than the old, familiar scent of a burned-out farmhouse? What?
The stench of charred wood haunts the air. Faint tracks disturb the soil. Let's find Binder. Verse sinks to one knee. These tracks are faint. Even with the earth as dry as it is, whoever left them was traveling light. They couldn't carry much gear. No intention turns to the eastern horizon. A shadow stalker's hunkers low to the ground, knuckles flat in the dirt. She sniffles and snorts, nostrils nearly touching the earth.
Track makers smell of sweat and dirt, leather, old oil on iron, dry food only, no meat.
We've got a burned farmstead and multiple fire wards set around it. That reeks of our missing fire mage Catorius. There's chorus and disfavored shit all over the place. Given how shoddily maintained the iron is, I'm guessing it's all chorus shit.
Cucatorius have been conscripted.
We can always ask him when we find him, assuming I let him live long enough to form an answer. The nearest stronghold is a sad little pile of palisades on the edge of the contested lands called Fort Squander. The disfavored used to hold those walls, so that could go a ways towards explaining their arms being scattered around here. Come on, we've got a sage to track.
She gestures ahead. You okay? You seem a little intense.
Yeah, I'm... The fire. It reminds me of Red Geyser.
She pats her lower lip. Tell me about her.
She loved fire. Loved it more than any other fury. Loved it more than the blood chanters, maybe. They twist and pull it, summon it. She made a partner of it. Let it lead her dance. Once she lured these Azure scouts into a clearing. They're tracking this lone woman, then all around them torches blaze. Geyser sets these pitch-headed arrows to the flames before putting them into one of the scouts' eyes. An arrow per eye, hissing and popping. Then she charges into the scouts with this burning crescent, this axe, the head as long as your arm and pitched. They swing at her, but it's all fire and blood to her. She shoulders them aside and we take them apart. That's where she got her name. The spray from an opened neck.
Wish I'd seen it.
To look at her back, at her chest. No one would fault you for mistaking her for a man of labor. 8 more than the rest of us combined. All she took to with everything in her. She was obsessed with proving herself to the voices. He'd given her this second life in the Howling Choir, and she was gonna make good and fucking sure that she earned it every day. She was one of the good ones, Binder. As good as anyone on this filthy peninsula. I'm glad I got to tell you about her. She lives on a bit in that. Now, let's be off.
Wes cracks her knuckles and nods. Gills and Chatter interrupts your travels, sniffing the air. Beastwoman smells gem claim near. Come on. Yeah. Shrug. This place is manned by a skeleton crew. Could be half the choirmen are out raiding, but I don't like it. Her nostrils flare. By the way, this is our best opportunity to get in and out without having to cut our way through 100 chorus scrubs. Unless it's a trap. Never far from my mind, Fate Binder, but it pays to keep on one's toes. Let's say, you and I go bind ourselves some fates. Blood stains the wall. Thick as layered paint, and dead flies stick to its tacky surface. There seems to be too much gore to be the result of barrel, but if it's supposed to be decor, its meaning is lost in its mad excess. It's not the largest map, but it's certainly larger than I expected for just ad hoc along the side quest thing. You sure you can't move through there? It looks like we could definitely move through. Alright. Till next rest. That's what we get for burying a bunch of bodies. A lot of area around the outside where there is nothing.
No one will know I was there.
Increased movement speed. Ooh, it's a toxic.
Attack again? We'll strike better next time.
So fun. Whoa, I'm invisible again. Sucks to be you.
Nope, nope. You'll have to hit harder than that. This weapon is entirely worthless.
Blah. I want to say pretty clearly, Sock and it. Forestman. Ah, wave of fatigue just hit me. Good God. Oof. 9:20. Let's keep going. Got side quests to finish. We love side quests. Yeah. Big healing potion. For big heals. Chorus scribbled over disfavored. I guess waste not, want not, right? A half dozen corpses, most bearing disfavored brands upon their skins, hang in various states of bloody abuse in this converted animal pen. It's unclear whether this torture served as interrogation or entertainment. Oh no. I just had a pang that's like, you could stream Pathfinder. Rust-marred iron weapons have been strewn haphazardly in this corner of the fort. Some seem to be vicious knives broken down from larger swords, while other blades boast new barbs or serrated edges. You could stream Pathfinder, Kingmaker, and then Wrath of the Righteous. They're fucking huge. Nah, it's gonna be Rogue Trader. But first, Dragon Age. Dragon Age Veilguard is next. A man spins to meet you as you enter the core of the stronghold, his carbon black skin gleaming with a sheen of sooty sweat. Sweeps of grey ash smear his red robes, and he grasps in his hands a staff of a blood chanter, orange flames licking its length. First, Archon. His eyes flicker to you, and he bows his head slightly. And you know who I am and why I'm here. I should make things quick and easy. Or I shimmer with to reflect the light of Catorius's flame. Catorius, what a pleasure. Lantry scratches at his arm with the point of his quill. Lantry, I see your timid support of the Overlord hasn't withered with age. I am but a simple servant to the Fatebinder. He offers his open palms, empty of all, save smeared with ink, and the quill dangling from between two fingers. And I'm the Archon of youth everlasting. He chuckles, a sound not like on gravel shaken at a bag. I assume he's one of your sister's killers? None other. I've seen these smoking lips 1,000 times behind my eyelids. I've put a lot of thought into how I'll go about cutting them off. Her tongue runs the length of her upper teeth. Apologies for the lack of introduction, Archon. I am Catorius, once of the School of Ink and Quill. The sage smiles, indicating himself with a flat hand upon his chest. The hand, remaining flat, rotates and pitches to indicate verse. More to the matter at hand, however, I am one of the 3 survivors of the group that met your friend Scarlet Fury patrol in an open battle in Apex a few years ago. It seemed pretty damn matter of fact about it for someone whose remaining life is measured in hours. So long. You think I'm gonna make it quick? Kindling cock? No. No. I'm gonna savor this nice and... She barks out a laugh. Catorius rings his staff with both hands and regards you with narrowed eyes. How did I come to earn your unbridled enmity? You let Crocus live, and he was easily the worst of them. That wasn't my fucking call. Versus weapon appears in her hand. Hold, Fury. I'm just the slightest bit curious about why the man who killed your Fury friends holds a tent in the middle of a Kyros forsaken Scarlet Chorus encampment. He holds out a flat, filthy palm. That stops first short. Her eyes, when she looks to you, have widened with doubt. I was wondering that myself. Say your piece, Sage. First grimaces. Simply put, I am a creature of the voices of Narath. Have you no honor, Sage? Barak steps to Versa's side. Voices? What are you trying to say? The chorus took me and everyone in my village almost 4 years ago, my wife included. I think you'd like Marion. Was she not wrapped up in all of this? She's broad of shoulders, muscled like a beast woman, in a spirit full of oil and fire. He taps his staff thoughtfully. Flimsy male craves mate built like beast woman. Be careful with wish. She chuffs lightly. Marion sounds like the name of no choirman I've ever met. That's her true name. Not a conscript name. I wouldn't call her by that. Let me guess, the voices used to control you. Muscle matters in the chorus, but a vicious killer is just a pawn to the Archon of Secrets. Only knowledge truly matters. That made me valuable to them. Marion, less so. He stares into the magical flame coiling at the head of his staff. So you cut a deal. Her upper lip curls back, revealing a sharp yellowed canine. I told them I'd do whatever they wanted, as long as they kept her out of their more sacrificial operations. He lets loose another long sigh, shoulders sinking slightly as if under a growing burden. As a tearsman and a sage, I could go to places the voices people couldn't. Join causes that they couldn't. Long before the Tarkus clan reached an agreement with the sages to slaughter the garrison of Adrian's Well Citadel, I helped Tarkus Deimos plan his resistance. The voices allowed the Earthbreakers to slaughter the chorus's expendable gangs as distractions for their true objective. The voices thought Verse and her sisters expendable. Bullshit. Each fury is worth 24 conscript. A sisterhood that dances together like ours, there's no more bitter force in the whole fucking field of war. I think you're right. Or something like right. We weren't supposed to kill you. We weren't supposed to take you alive. The voices wanted you to witness your squad's deaths. The sage nods vigorously. But you couldn't kill us all. You took Geyser. Versus words carry the chill of winter. We captured one of you, yes. Irissa wanted to finish her off as a warning. Crocus thought we could sell her. I sided with him and suggested a ransom to the Archon of Secrets. That's what we did. We got your friend home to the voices. His gaze rises to Versus. You expect us to believe Narat cared enough about one of his own to purchase her back? I'm not sure it matters what you believe. You lie. Red Geyser, my sister is dead. Mismatched eyes glare from beneath her lowered brow. If so, she was killed after we left her with the Archon. Which I suppose brings us to the present. The voices left me with standing orders. If you ever figured out the truth of it, I was to bring you to them. So that's what happens next. He rubs the bridge of his nose. Which is why I've kept you talking until the reinforcements return from patrol. In the brief silence that follows, you discern quiet chatter and the sound of boots on dry earth from someone else in the fort. Help us, and we'll help you. If I don't bring you back, it doesn't matter whether or not I died in trying. The voices of Narat will murder Mary. Lifts the staff, and the flames along its length brighten, illuminating runes burned into the wood. The only other way to save her would be to kill the Archon of Secrets. Then we kill the Archon of Secrets. There are more soldiers coming to the fortress now than you fell on your way to me. Yet, if anyone can kill the Archon of Secrets, it would be you. His chapped lips purse. Not me, us. But first we have to get free of here. Then this conversation is over, right? Murderous anger flickers with reflective flame in her eyes as she glares hungrily at Catorius. What do you want, Vess? I trust you to make the right call. Easiest choice I've ever made. I'm gonna enjoy this dance, Catorius. For Red Geyser. Vess grins at Catorius. It's a damn shame, Archon. Looks like your friendship with this chorus right will be your demise. He raises his staff as the sounds of the approaching chorus gangs grow louder.
Come at me, great feet.
Run from Batman. Fast, fast, fast.
I will have your head! Smash to pieces!
Can't do that.
At your service, Fatebinder. What do you need?
Escape. Alright.
Send them at me in waves!
There are indeed a lot of enemies. Okay.
Just point me in the right direction.
Get back.
You'll have to hit harder than that.
I wonder if Lantry will hit level 20 by the end of this. Like,
On it.
it'll be very gratifying to get that high a level. Fuck, there are a lot of enemies. They're not making this easy. I really appreciate that. That's so good. And sleep.
Harsh words would cause more harm than this useless weapon.
Silence? Oh.
Harsh words would cause more harm than this useless weapon.
Smash to pieces!
I really, that should have rested. This recovery time debuff is really affecting us.
Right.
Shove that in your ballast holes, you bird bone scrotum shits. Rose makes a series of creative hand gestures. Her voice shatters the thick silence that had fallen over the palisades. Screw Katoria, screw his stupid wife, and screw the Archon of Secrets. She laughs as a cool breeze rolling up the mountains to the west unsettles her feathers. You still with me, Verse? Yeah. Lady yanked me out of the moment, Binder. I was close to enjoying myself. Lapsing into silence first, stares up into a sky still smeared with the smoke of the burning library. Puts both her hands on her back, just above her hips, and stretches, jutting her pelvis forward until her spine releases a series of satisfying snaps. Nothing simple in your wake, is it? The voices I listened when I was supposed to listen, reported everything I heard, killed what they told me to kill, black and white. Black and red, anyway, she smokes. I guess it was always complicated. I just ignored the complexities. Can't operate as solely on gut instinct anymore. My gut would see this whole damn peninsula burn to cinders. And then what? She massages her right eyebrow. Taratus rewards strength. I don't think I was strong enough to move in. Well, influential circles. And then, I don't know. Makes me nervous. Listen to me. Next thing I'll be wearing robes and making you call me Archon. Let's finish this later. I want to get out of this hole, Binder. She brushes dust from her palms. Talk to Verse at the mountain spire. I have to go all the way back to the fucking mountain spire. Alright. Fair enough. Mountain spire. Penryn's well. While making your way through the wilderness, you will come across several dense shrubs liberally dotted with crimson berries. Not this fucking thing again. Juicy berries. This is Budding Rose. He grasps a small handful of berries from the bush and stuffs them into his bag. Consumed even in small quantities, these berries stoke the libidinous humors. Sadly, the berries almost always create dyspeptic calamities in the magically inclined. He glances down at the patch to stuffed with berries. But sometimes the terrible stomach pains are worth feeling like a teenager again. Budding Rose. Harvests berries. He carefully pulls several of the berries from the plant. Barrack? He eyes the offered berries suspiciously. Barrack tells you that while he appreciates the gesture, he's had bad experiences in the past eating wild berries of the tears. His bronze eye in prison did nothing to decrease the unpleasantness. Eb? We've seen this before. Not fixed. Oh no, the last thing I need to do is ruin another pair of pantaloons. Where did you find those? They don't look very healthy. She frowns. No, that's not right. They don't sound healthy. Can you not hear them, Fatebinder? They sound disquieted. But where is Fatebinder? Leave with the berries. You seek the berries away. Budding Rose talks in. When you next check on them, you find that they've gone slightly off color and mushy. The smell wafting from the fruit reminds you of a corpse. Deciding it might make a worthwhile poison, you bottle the juices. The reeking pulp, the pouch is stored it in, on the other hand, This card. Eat it, and you shoot your guts out. You want something from me? Yes, you dipshit. Let me buy you stuff. Fuck you. Woo. Edict of Nightfall. Edict of Nightfall brings permanent darkness to the land. Plants will wither, animals will sicken, and people will slowly freeze without the sun's warmth. Plus 3 subterfuge, 20% damage. That's pretty fucked. I'm not gonna do that. That's a shitty thing to do. It doesn't matter how really funny it would be. There still is an owl on a perch, first stares in the direction of cacophony. A warm breeze from the east playing at the feathers festooning her head.
Fatebinder.
Verse.
I feel my sisters twisting around inside me, Binder. I can't tell whether they're dancing or trying to cut their way out. Or both.
Sounds like you're trying to justify your own tumultuous feelings.
Maybe, like, all this passion, this wild, frenzied lust, it's actually coming from me. I'm just giving it my sisters' voices. Or something.
She splays her fingers before her, apparently taking a vested interest in the grime beneath her nails.
It feels like all that's in front of me is a gorge so wide and so deep that there's nothing to see but wide open air.
She looks at you.
Say we come out of this with minds and bodies intact, you've got the tears and the Overlord has everything else. Then what?
Hey, anything I have belongs to the Overlord, just like me.
I just hope the Overlord is of a mind with you on that.
The smirk captures the corner of her mouth.
The voices... I can't imagine him bending the knee to you. Whatever you've got planned, if you're walking into the heart of his power, you'd better be kitted for war.
The Archon of Secrets will fall by my hand.
Your confidence inspires. It's positively fucking infectious.
She smiles. She smirks.
The Voices has more years behind him than a person can rightly imagine. If anyone's ever dug up a way to cheat the Void, it would be him. What if that way is me? We know he was preparing me for something. What if he made some trap door into me? What if he's hiding inside me right now?
The Voices tries to use you as a door. I'll shut and bar it permanently.
I don't know if you meant that to be reassuring, but it was. That asshole tries to come out of me. Don't bother trying to set things right. Just slice me up and be done with it. But make sure he's actually through first. Don't gut me just because he starts knocking. Speaking of, any suggestions on what to do if I feel him creeping around in here?
Figure out who Verse is and stay Verse.
Now you're going to have me asking how I'm not myself? And don't try and turn me into a sage. We've got shit to do, right? Don't let me hold you up. And thanks, Fatebinder. Arcbinder.
Verse grins. Arcbinder. Confront the Voices of Narat alongside Verse. Right. The Relationships tab. Scarlet Chorus. Well, they don't like me. But somehow I'm not full of wrath, which is insane. Same with the Disfavored. God, they got a lot of patience. Unbroken. Yeah, they're not pleased. Sage's Guild. Wish I still had this. Forgebound. They fucking love me. I've never done anything wrong. Whoops. Didn't have time to tell anyone about your misdeeds. Whoops. Don't see relatives. Yeah, these guys suck. Lantry. Loyalty. Nearly level 5. Jeez. I can't. It's so close. That's crazy. It's not max. Same with Barrack. It's funny that we're like equal. Oh, full loyalty. That's brilliant. Neat. Heart of the Storm. Nearly 5. Whoa, this is only nearly 4? It's crazy. She loved me. How is her loyalty so low? Serene, we're buddies, are we not? Well, coming close to the end. Maybe we should have a brief chat with Serene.
Fatebinder, it is good to see you. By this point, I've usually been passed off to someone else for more training.
Serene's face shows a mixture of confusion and hopefulness.
What do you need?
My scribe says that this parchment I found in a bastard wound may be ancient music. That's a pretty silly theory. Paper isn't music. It can't even sing. She chuckles. Then here, let me see it. Maybe... She carefully supports the ancient vellum in her small hands. If it's notation, it's not like anything I've ever seen, though. Maybe if you took me to where you found it, there might be something that would illuminate it. Not illuminate like the scribes do with parchment, like provide insight. Whatever, you know what I meant. Let me know if you want to return to Bastard's Wound. Okay, fine. Jesus.
Fatebinder, what do you need?
I would know more about you. What do you want to know? Tell me about your homeland. What is there to say? It's a fuzzy memory hardly worth recalling. I was born in a northern farming village without a name. That's how out of the way we were. But your families ended up settling near each other, and that was my village. It's about 20 miles from Shadow's Rest, and you probably haven't heard of that either. We were farmers, poor and isolated. Nothing about my home or past is worth dwelling on, Fatebinder. I barely remember my father. My mother is dead, and the only thing people ever wanted from me was my song. The girl is powerful. Bring the songbird. We need a blessing. Our crops are withering. What has that bitch done? The voice falters at the last statement. She shivers a little. Nothing when you pass is worth dwelling on. Looks to me like you remember something. Suppose with an angry mob that fears you and what you can do, stones your mother to death while she shields you with her body, it sticks with you. What do you remember about your family? The good thing about being taken from home when you're still a child is that you can't miss the childhood you never got. What do you want to know? You were taken from your family? Technically, by the time I was taken, there was no family left to be taken from. The Kyros' forces had gotten word of my talents and decided I was better used taking over the world than helping local farmers. There's no family left. What happened? What do you think? They're dead. My father might not have cared about me, about us, but my mother would never have let anyone take me while she lived. Without anyone to protect me, I was whisked off to Kyros' court. How would you describe your father? Worthless, hopeless, devoid of human emotion. Sometimes I feel we were complete opposites. He seemed incapable of feeling anything, and I seemed to be nothing but raw emotion. The rat let it slip that my father sold me to Kyros and was responsible for my mother's death. Someone had to egg the crowd on, and someone had to tell Kyros' men where I was. Not that it matters. He's dead, and I'm better off without him. Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. What do you remember about your mother? She's dead, so I don't have much to remember. She loved me. That much I know. Sometimes I wonder if what she felt was love or fear. Fear for me, or of me. Sometimes I don't think there was a difference between the two. My mother loved me when no one else did, when no one else could. The world wanted nothing but my voice. All my mother wanted was my happiness. She was the only person in my life who did. Tell me about your mother's death. No, Fatebinder. I can't. Please, don't make me talk about it. Her voice trembles, and tears well up in her eyes. Okay, Serene. I will never ask you to tell me that story. Thank you. There are some things that are just too painful to remember. Tell me about your father's death. He disappeared after my mother died and I was kidnapped. I didn't hear anything about him for the longest time, so I assumed he had disappeared and I would never see him again. And someone brought word that he'd been found. He killed himself, and now he's out of my life. For someone who always has a lot to say, that was incredibly succinct. Is there more? Your relentless fate, Binder. Did you ever think that maybe there are some things I want to keep to myself? But yes, you're right. There's more to the story. When I got word that he'd been found, I had him summoned to Kyros' court. I wanted to see the man who'd condemned me to the life I was leading. When he arrived, I went to see him privately. I wasn't sure what I would feel. Anger? Hatred? I didn't expect apathy. For the first time in my life, I felt nothing. Standing there staring at the man who ruined my life. Waiting for him to notice me, my heart was dull and disinterested. Then he looked up and smiled. He smiled when he saw me. Can you believe that? He smiled and opened his arms to hug me, and it felt like someone had reached into my chest and squeezed my heart, sending hate flooding through my veins. So I sang him a song. I told him how tired he looked, how haggard he seemed. I spoke of the weariness he must feel, the guilt that surely plagued him every day. I asked him how he withstood the weight of his betrayal. The burden must be too much to bear. I watched the tears roll down his cheeks as he pulled a dagger from his belt. The sobs that tore from him as he held it before him, thinking about his wife and child. The look of ecstatic relief on his face as he dragged the blade across his neck. He got what he deserved, Cyril. That's what I tell myself, and for the most part I believe it. I can't help but wonder what terrible things he did in the 5 years after he vanished, and what I might have prevented if he'd only been around to hear me the morning my mother died. Now you know what happened to my father. As I told you before, he killed himself, and that's it. Do you have any siblings? No. I was close to a boy in my village for some time, but his mother stopped letting me play with him when everyone realized what my powers were. That's the closest thing I ever had to a living sibling. Dour expression, clouds of face. A living sibling. My brother died very young. I never knew him, so I hardly count him as a sibling. Life in the middle of nowhere is difficult. For a single child to survive, let alone more, is a testament to the parents. Siren loyalty won. She looks at you for a time, her lips a thin line. Her eyes grow red and tears form in the lids. Finally, she nods slowly and breaks her silence. I remember my mother talking about me getting a little brother. It wasn't long after I started singing and my powers started growing. She told me that soon it would be too hard for her to travel with me. Siren, sweetie, she said, you'll have to go with your daddy. It wouldn't be good for the baby if I kept traveling like that. Maybe after your brother is out here with us, we can all travel together. Siren looks out to the horizon, her voice breaking. You didn't like traveling with your father? No. All he wanted was some money. When we were on the road, he completely ignored me. I was simply something to earn rings with, a tool. Farmers in my village used their rakes and wagons. My father used my voice. Everyone wanted a songbird to sing for them, and they paid us so much money, so we went. But I didn't want to go without my mother. She was the only real comfort I had. When I was with her, I felt safe. Nothing could hurt me. There was a trip coming up, and I knew she wouldn't be going. I couldn't bear the thought of all those days in the care of my father. Her voice breaks again, and she closes her eyes. So I sang to my baby brother. I told him we were all waiting for him. I told him we needed to be a family so we could travel together. I told him he should come out now. I don't know if I meant it to happen, but I sang the words no one can resist. No one can resist my voice. My mother's screams cut the song short. It was the blood. It was everywhere. I was dragged from the room, but I don't remember who took me. I only remember staring at my foot the rest of the afternoon. The pattern soaked into my shoe, the splatter across the tops of my toes. I couldn't bring myself to clean it off. I just looked at it. How long had your mother been pregnant? Not long enough for my brother to survive. Maybe he could have. I don't know. Problem is, when I told him he had to come out, I didn't mean I wanted him out alive. I don't think he would have survived even if it was time for my mother to give birth. I'm gonna... 2 hours, 47 minutes. Warning, miscarriage. People came and went all day. It's a lot of crying. Nobody looked at me the same way after that. My mother told me that things like this happen all the time, but even at 5, I knew what I had done. And part of me was happy. I wanted my mother back, and I got her. She still loved me. She died protecting me, but I terrified hell of a content warning. Every time I opened my mouth, I could see her flinch, and after my brother died, she was never around when I sang. She couldn't bear to watch me. Let's talk about someone else. How long have you been practicing magic? Always. I have no memory of being without the power. It has been my driving force, and I am who I am because of it. Every defining moment of my life is because of my voice and the power behind it. I have become what it made me, and it is what I have done with it. Tell me about your time with the voices of Norat. What do you want to know? How did you meet Norat? I met it. I was unceremoniously dumped on its doorstep by Kyros. All I felt towards it since the moment I saw it was sheer hatred. When one person tires of me, they just hand me off to another. I seem to be quite the handful. No one is truly prepared to deal with me, I suppose. I was its possession for 3 years, stuck doing what it wanted until you came along and started messing around with Kyros' plans. Why did Kyros give you to Norat? I made the mistake of trying my song on Kyros, and forgiveness isn't exactly in the Overlord's vocabulary. Interestingly enough, I think it almost worked. Can you imagine how differently things would have turned out if I had had a little more practice? I was brought out at one of the many lavish gatherings thrown at the palace. Kyros loved showing me off, impressing the gathered elite. So I performed, I sang, I danced, I convinced people to join in. Then in the middle of it all, I had a brilliant idea to work one more performance into the show, something that would be the ultimate end to the evening. I added a counterpoint to my song and directed it at Kyros. In it, I mentioned it might be in everyone's best interest if Kyros ended up impaled on a sword. I honestly didn't think it would work, but why not try, right? Went as far as Kyros unsheathing one of the Royal Guard's swords, but then everything stopped. I don't know why. It's probably me. I got too excited and lost my control. But whatever the reason, Kyros was suddenly out of my control and let out a terrible shout. Wait, you afraid of getting caught? Of course I was. But I've seen how the world works, especially in Kyros' world. People don't live long when they're disposed of. And when they're disposed of, it's violent and sudden. I figured I was dead anyway, so why not try to rid the world of a horrible threat? Really? You're trying to save the world. Fine, I was trying to save my own skin. Happy? I was 12. So forgive me if self-preservation was in the front of my mind. Oh, look, a young lady who thinks of nothing but herself. Do you want to hear this story or not? Go on. Everyone's dead, frozen by the yell echoing back at us. Kyros quickly recovered and gave the appearance of cheering us on, but I was convinced that I was about to die. Interestingly, my execution never came. I finally realized that I couldn't have been punished at the party because Kyros would have to admit that I had exerted my will onto the Overlord. Without a good reason to call for my death, I couldn't have been executed afterward. I was the songbird. I did nothing but spread Kyros' will and gather the armies. Would you execute your best and most loved recruiting tool? So Kyros worked with Norat, and they gave me this helmet to bring me back in line. Then I was handed over to Norat, that monster, because it is the one thing in the world I cannot control. Present company excluded, Fatebinder. Why can't you control him? I've been inside its mind time after time, and I've never been able to get a handle on what's going on in there. Every time I talk to it, I feel like a different person is talking to me, and every one of them wants something different. And one in particular wants something it's never, ever going to get. Wait a minute, what does Norat want from you that he's never going to get? Come on, Fatebinder, you can't be that naive. I'm still a child and I know about adult urgings, as one of my old teachers so clumsily put it. Somewhere inside that chaotic mind is held the most depraved and disturbing desires I've had the misfortune of feeling. No matter what Norat says to you, do not trust it. That will always end badly. What has Norat had you do for him? Now, if that isn't the question that goes right to the heart of the storm, I think you should ask me what it hasn't had me do, or at least tried to make me do. Let's talk about someone else. What do you want to know? Tell me about this headdress. It's a bane of my existence. It's something that's incredibly painful to talk about, so why not? She shrugs. What does it do? Makes me impotent. Do you have any idea what it's like to have a hurricane raging inside you? To feel the gale crushing against you to be released, but only feel a gentle summer's breeze? Kyros and Norat made it just for me. If I attempt anything more powerful than a simple tune, it will kill me. Isn't that simply wonderful? Honestly, to be so terrified of a mere child. Why do you have it? I might have tried to kill Kyros once. He and Norat decided I posed too much of a threat, so they muzzled me. I was their attack dog, and they pulled out my teeth. You can hardly be surprised if the dog tries to bite you, if that's all you teach him to do. Why can't you simply take it off? Gee, Fatebinder, I never thought of that. Here, could you unclasp it for me so I can get out of it? Because I'll die if it isn't removed the proper way, you simpleton. Do you think I'd leave it on otherwise? If you can't take it off, then why did you get me to try to remove it when we met?
How can someone be so powerful, be so stupid? I knew you wouldn't be able to remove it. That's not what I was trying to do. You're a fate binder. Yes, I think I was going to try and pass up the opportunity to try to control a fate binder. How do you know you'll die if you remove the helmet? Because I doubt Narad and Kyros would go through all the trouble just to play a trick on me. Something this subtle, elaborate, and long-lasting isn't really their style. This is not Narad's. Plus, Narad told me the helmet would kill me if I removed it. And while it might be a lying monster, it loves telling the truth if the truth causes an extra bit of pain. He believed Narad. Maybe he's just toying with you. Have you tried removing it? I'm not going to risk my continued existence on a maybe. Plus, I already tried. When they first put it on me, I got one of the worst headaches I'd ever had. So leave it where it is for now. What would it take to remove it? Someone beating information out of Narad or Kyros. They're the only ones who know how it was constructed or how it works. I may ask people to remove it, but I know they won't be able to. That's not going to stop me from trying, though. By the headdress, why not use magic to gag you? They tried magic. It didn't really work. The problem is spells can be broken, counter spells can be found, guards can be bribed, people can have accidents. Narad and Kyros are the only ones who know how to remove this without killing me. The answer is locked somewhere in Narad's insane. Kyros is currently not conveniently located. Heads. Let's talk about someone else.
What do you need?
You have a way of words, Sirin. We're instructed on how to speak with others.
Of course. One of the other good things that came out of my time with Kyros is my education. My teachers insisted I be trained on the proper way to speak with the royal court. I was frequently mistaken for someone older, so I think I got away with a lot more than I could have otherwise. For all their failings, I made sure I was properly educated. My favorite class was learning how to talk people into doing what you wanted without using magic. Can you believe that? Why in the world would you risk it? It was a fascinating subject. A class that would likely behoove your unique talents. If you can manipulate someone with just your words, imagine the power of your compulsion when you added your sigil to the suggestion. Do you think the class was created solely for my benefit? I mean, I wouldn't put it past Kyros if it was. She leans close, and in the softest of caresses, her lips brush her ear. Want me to teach you a trick or two? But she started, her voice a low and buzzing hum, before you can form an answer. Ooh. Words or sounds indiscriminate to the human ear, a language not meant to be understood by any but the Archon of Song, beyond the breadth of discernment, but inescapably compelling, binding, gut-wrenchingly painful in a single lilt, and then euphorically fulfilling a mere intone later. You blink and realize the muzzy, spine-tingling murmuring in your ear has fallen silent. Sirin draws back with a satisfied sigh, beaming at you. And the perfect image of a sigil, the invocation of her name, brands itself into the depths of your mind. Song of Benediction. Well, look at that. Loyalty 3. Fucking hell yes. Briefly suppresses the power of the headdress over it. Wow. But not the sigil of emotion. No, we already had it. We already had it, never mind. Slumber. Grave effect. 8 meters. Law skill is low. Comparative. And I think maybe we've spoken to Ed long enough to get...
Good day, Fatebinder. It's always nice. What do you need?
Oh, we're finishing up. Okay, cool. Wow. Jeez. I think I may have fucked up not talking to Siren earlier. Though, hell of a content warning. In any case, thank you very much for joining me. We have Act 3 to get through in Tyranny. Act 3 is not very long, so don't worry. I intend to finish it relatively soon, and I don't think it'll be super long. Maybe 3 more episodes than we're finished, which is going to be a hell of a celebration. Thank you very much for joining me for it. Friendos, be kind to yourselves, be kind to others. Much love to everyone. Grab it, hold it tight, send it out. Now, I have an intensive 4-day university week from Tuesday to Friday. While it does not go into stream time, there may be things I need to catch up on. I may be missing this Wednesday. Keep an eye on Discord, because I will let you know if I'm not streaming. Otherwise, assume I'll be here with you, because I will miss you if I don't get a chance to hold you, speak to you, see your lovely words and your lovely faces. If you can do a favor for me in return, it's please tell the people you love that you love them very much. Good night, everyone.